that only Mr. Radacsy's third period English class would understand. There once lived a man by the name of Jeremiah Radish. He works as a teacher undercover for the CIA in a school called Norwich, eventually wanting to work his way up to become President of the United States. He already has his campaign slogan chosen: "Don't get mad, get rad, hashtag Brad for Prez." I cannot see him running a successful campaign with all the scandal in his life. Funny thing is, Jeremiah retired years ago and just shows up at school every day, according to a reliable source, Brian Flick. In his free time, he enjoys musicals and reading books with no chapters in them, torturing his students by making them do the same. Jeremiah and his good buddy, Walter, decided that they were going to go on a cruise. On the cruise, they snuck into a comedy club, met Miss T in Colorado, hung out in a hot tub, and we don't want to know what happened there. There have been many women in Radish's past, Souvenir, Anaconda, and Suzuki to name a few. Some students must be in cahoots with Radish. Beck claims she has served several jail terms, taking the fall for Radish. Some claim that Radish removed student Ray's tongue so he cannot speak a word of what he has seen or heard. One day at lunch, a female student by the name of Ray was enjoying a bag of Doritos when Radish convinced her to put them into her hair. She could not resist and began eating her hair. A riot broke out when male students began fighting to have a taste of her delicious locks. A stampede broke out on other girls running to the vending machines for Doritos of their own. His only job during lunch duty was to prevent riots from occurring, and he couldn't even do that. His annual Yam Festival was always a success though. That is until Radish heard a mysterious noise in the hallway. Jeremiah thought, oh no, that could only be one thing, a bear cat.
Hey Ray, what's that noise in the hallway?
Is it a bear cat I hear? Yam Fest occurred on Bring Your Wife to School Day. He forgot to tell his wife to leave the bear cat at home with his sitter Caitlin. His pet bear cat pounced into the room and ravaged all the yams, ruining the Yam Fest. Jeremiah Radish's cover was blown when his colleague Peter Blamick caught him putting his students up to do his dirty work of stealing Peter's podium along with several other valuables from his classroom. Before Jeremiah could stand trial, he fled the state. Rumor has it he's living in Florida under the alias Gerald Radacsy and founded a restaurant called Yam Boy with his beautiful wife, Bearcat, and Caitlin.
You know, when I first met Mr. Radacsy, I didn't know him very well. I got to know him a little bit through our functions with the Northern Education Association and some of those things. And he served as the president, and I served as his vice president during that time. And I got to know Jerry very, very well. And Jerry had a really good way of keeping things in perspective. And one of the things that I always know and always remember about Jerry is that he had always had the ability to laugh and make other people laugh. And one of the things that I remember about that is one of the first times that we had the opportunity to go away on one of the business trips, union functions that we had. And it was at the Hershey Lodge, and I didn't really know Jerry all that well at the time, but was going to this union function. And we came to the counter, and he had checked in because he had made the reservations. And paid with the credit card, did the things that he needed to do, and said, okay, well, here's the keys to our room. And the person behind the counter said, well, let me give you instructions on how to get there. You need to go past this fireplace, up this wooden staircase with the wooden railings to the elevator, up into the 4th floor, and you'll find your room on the 4th floor. And Mr. Radacsy kind of shook his head and said, yes, that's not a problem. And then he said, oh, wait, as he usually does in Mr. Radacsy flamboyant form. And I kind of stopped in my tracks, and I turned back to the person who was standing behind the counter. And he said, you're gonna have to give us some other directions. My friend here, he has a wooden leg, and he's desperately afraid of fireplaces. And he walked away. And I was standing there by myself, looking at this person with a dumbfounded look on my face. And I kind of just shrugged my shoulders and put my head down and just walked away. I'll think about Mr. Radacsy quite a bit for a lot of different things. but that's one of the stories that will always stand out to me. I've been through a lot, and recently there have been some things that have happened that maybe there has been a misunderstanding or some other things, but I wish you the best in your future endeavors, and just wanted to tell you that I appreciate the friendship that we have.
The first time I met Mr. Radacsy, I was walking in my locker from Mrs. Mazur's class freshman year, and he stopped me and he asked me what I thought of this, and he showed me a jar filled with Polly Pocket parts.
My favorite Mr. Radacsy things is on the first day of school every year he stops some innocent freshmen in the hall and asks them if they know where the student lounge is, where there's TVs and couches, and they always give them a nice puzzled look. So I try to keep the tradition alive.
So one day I stole a part of Mr. Radacsy's lunch. It was a banana, and I hid it on his desk. And this proves how he doesn't do work, because he didn't find it 2 weeks later. And then when he did, he engraved the name Pablo Picasso on it and tried to sell it to his students.
And the student that got it, he was playing catch with it with another student in class, and he kind of missed and ended up hitting me in the head.
On the last day of school last year, Mr. Radacsy gave me a banana and said, "Good luck, kid."
I remember Mr. Radacsy is any day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it doesn't matter. He always said, "Have a good weekend." It's pretty funny.
Thanks to Radacsy, I now know the horrors of going in the Congo River, thanks to the Heart of Darkness.
After that, I killed them all!
One time, sophomore year, my whole class walked into Mr. Raddy's class and he sat down, and then he spent the first 5 minutes of class checking all the ceiling tiles for ninjas, kind of like this.
One of my first years teaching, I remember Mr. Radacsy climbed through the other wall and dropped confetti on my head from the ceiling tile, like this.
The first day I met Mr. Radacsy, the first day of 10th grade, he decided to name me Walter for some reason. I still don't know what that reason was, but to this day I still get called that by people in the class and by him. When I was on vacation in December of 2013, I came back from a cruise to the Caribbean, and he made me go in the front of his class and explain everything that I had done on the cruise, including sneaking into adult shows and meeting teen models. Mr. Radacsy had us go into Mr. Amick's room, and he told us go in there and take anything you can find. And so everything was all out, so I took Mr. Amick's podium and brought it back to Mr. Radacsy's room and kept it there the whole period.
Hey Jerry, it's me, your buddy Paul. Just wanted to send you a little farewell video. As I told most of our stories last night at the retirement dinner, but I just want to say a couple things about you. As you know by now, they're not replacing you in the English department, so we've always said you were irreplaceable, and now it's true because they're not hiring anyone to take your place. But I just want to say a couple things about you as a teacher, working alongside you all these years. I know what a fantastic job you've done with the kids, with the Advanced 10 class, with the literature and all your favorites like Heart of Darkness and Okonkwo and all those good things, and in the writing, and how you really worked hard to improve the kids' writing. So you will definitely be missed as part of the English department here and part of the staff for your teaching, but also for all the laughs and good times that we had with you. So we'll definitely miss you here on the staff, just as a teacher, but also as a member of the NEA. We talked about all the good times we had going to Gettysburg, and kind of how we always were outnumbered whenever we went to PSEA conferences and were trying to fight for our members and fight for what was right, and how you always stuck up for everybody and were willing to kind of stick your neck out for the NEA and all of our members. And I just want you to know I really do appreciate that. I learned a lot from you about teaching and also about union leadership. Look the devil in the eye, as you always told me, and we talked about that as well. But most of all, I think I'm just going to miss you as a friend. As you know in life, it's if you find a few good, loyal friends that you can depend on, that you can laugh with, and that you can count on, that's a pretty special thing, and you have been a very, very good friend of mine for the last decade or so. So I will definitely miss having you, not only as a colleague, but involved in the union with me, and also as a very good friend. So hopefully sometime I'll come and see you in Florida, or when you come back we'll get back together and talk about the old times. But I wish you the best of luck in Florida and in all of your future endeavors. I'll miss you, Jer. Thanks, buddy.